But first, this story is everywhere online. The Menendez brothers case that dominated the headlines, remember back in the 90s, it's now back in the spotlight, thanks in part to the popular Netflix series Monsters and also Kim Kardashian. She has written an essay arguing for the release of Lyle and Eric Menendez. Yeah. The two, if you don't know, are serving life sentences for the murder of their parents. But a new court hearing has now actually been set for November the 29th of this year. Why? To review these convictions in light of new evidence. So what role should entertainment, and I guess these celebrities, play when it comes to changing things in the court system?
Well, it played a really big role in the Jinx. Do you guys remember that miniseries? It was on HBO 2015, and it was about Robert Durst, who had been accused of killing his wife, his friend, and his neighbor. And he was acquitted, but at the end... That's it,
right?
But at the end, he was acquitted, and at the very end of the documentary, he had a hot mic on, which means his microphone was on, industry talk, sorry. And he was backstage, he's taking off, he's going to the washroom, and the mic records him saying, "What the hell did I do? Killed them all, of course." On the docuseries, which led to him being charged for one of the murders, and he was sentenced to life imprisonment. So sometimes these docuseries can have real life impacts, like putting someone away in prison.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, I just find that fascinating.
Yeah. This is your world. Like, so celebs, do they have a place to speak up on these cases?
Yeah. Well, I stick to horses. I speak up for wild horses.
Yes.
That's where I live and thrive. Yeah. They deserve to be fought for too. No, but when it comes to this, I mean, look, I personally cannot speak to this case. I'm not a lawyer. I know Kim Kardashian is, and she's using her platform for what she believes is the best. And she is, like, she passed the board. She is a lawyer. So I think anytime someone is lending their voice and their platform for a cause that they're passionate about and they're educated in that, then I say kudos to them, because, I mean, we're all here to thrive off of one another and to, like, live out our passion. If we think that we can contribute something, I think that's a positive thing. I think when you're talking about the law and murder, it doesn't get more real than that. And for me, I kind of just turn it back to society and say, like, why are we so fascinated with murder podcasts, with murder TV shows? Like, I don't know of a television show that doesn't start or end with a murder these days.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think, like, the audience sometimes forgets how much power they have. Like, showmakers wouldn't be making these shows if they didn't know audience member. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're turning into hits. And so to me, I feel like really the question is, like, with society, like, it's our obligation of what we tune into, what we pay attention to, what we give support to, and what we don't.
But don't you think we turn in because we, I love that point. Don't you think part of the reason we turn in is because we don't know how it will end? And let me try that again, because when we think of the law, we think of something very ironclad. We think there are rules. You think if you break the law, then you will go to jail. But what all of these shows have taught me, essentially, and cases in the news recently, is that the law is extremely fickle and extremely fluid. It depends on how much money you have for a lawyer, what the zeitgeist at the time is, what the climate is, and there's so many
variables.
And unfortunately, who you know.
And exactly.
And the attention that's placed on it as well. Well, this whole story, again, I remember hearing about this a million years ago, and I just didn't really think too much of it. I was like, I took whatever the public opinion was about the story as fact and never really thought about it again. So I like the idea that there's a lens being shown on this story, especially if it's a more complicated story, if there is innocence at play. What makes me uncomfortable is that I'm thinking about a story that was in the news a couple weeks ago about Marcellus Williams. And this is an individual who died by execution on September 24th in Missouri. He was convicted of a crime years ago. ago, and despite the fact that new evidence has been brought forward, and it was, by all accounts, the whole
Wrongful
situation was
conviction.
wrongful conviction.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Even the victim's family wanted him spared, and I think I didn't know about that story until it started popping up on my timeline, and he didn't get the attention it deserved. So, and again, this is a man of color, and you have the Menendez brothers who are white twins, and I just wonder if we start letting Hollywood decide what stories are important and saving people or
point.
not.
That is a great
I think we
point.
should all worry about that being the end
That's a great
result.
point, and that's a great point. And I want you to know, I signed my name on that. That popped up in my feed, and that was the first time that I saw it. And I signed my name, and unfortunately, it was the morning of the execution. I think it was last Tuesday or the Tuesday before,
Yeah.
and I got the alert when he had been executed. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a very sad
it's a great
story.
point.
Morgan, hey you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.